Welcome to the discretionary data training video. In this video, we will look at creating discretionary data elements and how those elements apply to the virtual terminal and shopping cart products. This discretionary information may also be sent to the PayTrace API for those working with a third-party software application. A few things to note before we get started. I am logging into a PayTrace professional account that has the shopping cart feature enabled. I am also logging in as the account administrator. If you do not see the same menu options that are in this video, you will want to work with your PayTrace account administrator to add the appropriate permissions to your user profile. Discretionary data allows us to ask for additional information that PayTrace doesn't ask for already. We can start by accessing the discretionary data menu from the control panel on the left-hand side. From there, we can click to create a discretionary data element. First thing we need to do is title our discretionary data element. Let's say we want to title it account number, and we can type that in. Then we need to choose how we want a response to be given. We can choose a text box for a keyed response, and towards the bottom of the page, we can define a minimum and maximum number of characters to be included in that text response. We can also select what type of response we are looking for in the text box, such as an alphabetic response or a numerical response, or both. Or we can choose a drop-down menu with one selection or multiple selections. When we choose a drop-down option, the bottom of the page will change and allow us to start adding options we want to populate the drop-down menu with. But let's do a text box and set the minimum and maximum characters to something simple. Then we want to choose who this discretionary data element applies to, our customers or our products. If set to customers, users processing transactions in the virtual terminal and customers visiting the shopping cart will be prompted to enter this information when checking out or processing the transaction. If this is set to products, then when we create a product, we will then be prompted to enter this information when entering the rest of the product information as well. Then we can select if we want this information to be required, so that this information must be entered in order for the transaction to process. Then we can choose if we want this information to be included on the transaction receipt that gets emailed out to customers. Once all this information is entered, we can click to save changes, and the element has been created. We can manage the elements after we have created them from the Modify Discretionary page. We can then select the element that we created and make adjustments to them at any time. So now that we have one created, let's take a look at it from the virtual terminal. If we visit the Process a Transaction page, we can now see that this information is being asked of us when completing our transaction. We can also take a look and see this applied to our shopping cart as well. If we visit the shopping cart menu, we can then click to create a product link. Once we do that, we can choose a product and then select a button we want to use, and then create the code for it. When the code is created, there is an image just below the code of the Buy or Add to Cart button that we selected. And if we click that button, the shopping cart will pop up and allow us to enter that information when checking out. This discretionary information will be available in the transaction reporting within PayTrace, as well as on receipts if specified so. This concludes the discretionary data training video.